Good morning, students. So today we are going to discuss about versatile nature of carbon and saturated and unsaturated carbon compounds. Okay. So first of all, let us start with versatile nature of carbon. Now see, just like in our previous lecture, we discussed that each and everything which we are able to see around us contains carbon. So why this carbon exists in almost all the things? Why? What is the reason? Okay, so this we are going to discuss now. Because of the existence of carbon in almost all the things, we see this nature of carbon as versatile nature of carbon. Okay, now we ourselves are made up of carbon compounds. Just like we said in the last lecture that all living organisms, they contain carbon. Okay, the number of carbon compounds whose formulae are known, they are in millions. So many compounds are possible which contain carbon, and this number rises into millions. Now if we see, then this number is so much that if we put together all other known compounds, then they will also not equalize it. They will also be less in number, and the number of compounds of carbon will be more. So why is it? Why it happens? Okay, so the nature of covalent bond enables carbon to form large number of compounds. Now why? What are the two reasons? So what are the two factors? One is called catenation and second one is tendency to form four covalent bonds. Okay, so these two reasons are there. Now first reason, let us discuss catenation. Carbon has the ability to form bonds with the atoms of carbon, giving rise to large molecules. Okay, now if you are asked what is catenation, so what you will say? You will say that the property of an element to link with the atoms of same element is called catenation, or in simple words, self-linking property of elements is called catenation. Okay, now when they are linking among themselves, then they will form long chains of carbon. Those chains may be branched or they may be arranged in the form of rings. Okay, and even if it is not there, then there may be single, double or triple bonds. Okay, now compounds of carbon, now see, this is one more thing. Compounds of carbon which linked by only single bond, they are called saturated compounds. And if there is presence of double or triple bond between the carbon atoms, then they are called unsaturated compounds. Okay, so this is very important. No other element exhibits the property of catenation to such extent, means catenation is shown by other elements also, but that is shown to less extent. Okay, just like if you see oxygen, when it forms O2 molecule, it forms O3 molecule, oxygen molecule and ozone molecule, but after that it doesn't show anything else. So what we will say, other elements also say do this property, also show this property of catenation, but the extent to show is limited. In case of carbon, it is unlimited. Okay, so they are able to form so many molecules. Okay, now see here, more example is given. Silicon, it also forms chains with hydrogen, but till 8 members. Okay, and those compounds which it forms, they are also very reactive. In case of carbon, it is not so. Okay, so what we will say, because of catenation, there is formation of a large number of molecules of carbon. Now the second main reason is tetravalency of carbon. So if we see its structure, its Lewis structure, then we find that there are 4 valence electrons in carbon. Okay, means its valency is 4. So it can form 4 bonds with other atoms also, with the carbon atoms also, Okay, so compounds of carbon are formed with oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur, chlorine and many other elements, which gives rise to compounds with specific properties. Means because of this tetravalency, it can form bonds with so many other elements. Okay, now the bonds that carbon forms with most other elements are very strong, making these compounds exceptionally stable. Okay, now see, carbon, when it combines with so many other elements, then what happens? Then the bond formed is very strong and it makes the molecule stable. Now why the bond formed is very strong? Because size of carbon is small. If we compare two molecules, molecules formed by small sized atom and bigger sized atom, then the molecule formed by small sized atom will be more stable, and formed by larger sized atom will be less stable. Why? Because here nucleus is nearer, and so attractive forces will be more, so bond formed will be more stronger. In this case, what happened? Nucleus is larger, is at large distance, so attractive forces are less. Because of lesser attractive forces, the bond formed is weaker. Okay, so because of small size of carbon, the bond formed is very strong. Now let us discuss about what are organic compounds. Okay, now see, we discussed these two properties. These two properties are the main properties which are responsible for formation of a large variety of compounds of carbon. Okay, now when we talk about organic compounds, then previously the definition given was that the compounds formed from living organisms are known as organic compounds, just like plants and animals. If we obtain some compounds from these things, then those were termed as organic compounds, and which were not obtained from living organisms or plants or animals, they were termed as inorganic compound. But what happened? A scientist called Frederick Wöhler, he gave one theory in the year 1828, and what he did, he prepared urea from ammonium cyanate. So from non-living substance also an organic compound can be formed. So that definition was not applicable for all the things every time. Okay, now you may ask one question, that there are few compounds like carbides, oxides of carbon, carbonates and hydrogen carbonates. They are studied in organic chemistry or inorganic chemistry? So they are studied in inorganic chemistry. Okay, so they are studied in inorganic chemistry, though they contain carbon, because these compounds, they mainly exist in the form of salts. Okay, so this is the main reason why they are studied in the inorganic chemistry only. Now let us come to two categories of carbon compounds. There are two categories, one is saturated compounds and another is unsaturated compound. Now if we talk about saturated, then as we told earlier, if there is presence of single bond between carbon and carbon or carbon and other atoms, then it will be termed as saturated. Okay, and if there is presence of either single double bond or more than one double bond is there, or if there is presence of triple bond or more triple bonds are there between the carbon atoms in the molecule, then that will be termed as unsaturated. Okay, so means here what we have to see, we have to see the bond between carbons. If it is single bond, then it is saturated. If there is presence of multiple bond means double or triple, then it will be termed as unsaturated carbon. Okay, now we discussed one molecule, methane. The next molecule after methane is ethane, and its formula is C2H4. Okay, So how this molecule's formula we can write? Okay, now see, we know the formula is C2H6. How we can deduce the structure? This is structure, so how it will be deduced? Okay, now see, we will start from the very beginning, that how many carbons are there? There are 2 carbons. So first of all, we will join those 2 carbons with the help of single bond. Then we will write all the hydrogen atoms. Hydrogen atom has tendency to make a single bond. So there are 6 hydrogen atoms. So we will make 6 hydrogen bonds, 6 bonds of hydrogen with carbon atoms. Okay, 6 hydrogen atoms will make single covalent bond with carbon atoms, and tetravalency of carbon will be satisfied. Just like here you can see, we have bonded 6 hydrogen atoms with 2 carbon atoms in such a way that each carbon is bonded to 4 other atoms, and so its tetravalency is satisfied. Hydrogen is bonded with 1 atom, so its duplet is complete. Okay, now this can be represented like this. This carbon is having 8 electrons around this. This carbon is also having 8 electrons around this. There is single pair between the carbon atoms, and each hydrogen atom is also making 1 bond. So this is electron dot structure of ethane. Okay, now let us discuss ethene. Now one more compound is there, which is C2H4 and is called ethene. Now how we can deduce the structure? The steps are same. First of all, we will bond the carbon atoms. Okay, now we bonded the carbon atoms first. There are 2 carbon atoms, we put a single bond. Now in second case, we will put all the hydrogen atoms with the help of single bond between carbon atoms, and so we will represent it like this. Now our all hydrogen atoms are over and our carbon atoms are also over, but tetravalency of carbon is not satisfied. Okay, to satisfy the tetravalency, we will put a double bond here and we will get this type of structure. Now if you see, there are 4 bonds of each carbon atom and there is single bond of each hydrogen atom. Okay, and if you see the number of electrons, that also are balanced. This carbon contains 4 electrons of its own, so these 4 electrons are present here. Okay, this carbon also contains its 4 electrons, those 4 electrons are here. Okay, so there is sharing of 2 electron pairs between the 2 carbon atoms to form an ethene molecule structure. Okay, now let us see this. Now see, chains, branches and rings. Now we are going to discuss about the chains, branches and rings which will be formed between the carbon compounds. Okay, now here I have written all the saturated compounds, just like this is methane, ethane, propane, butane, pentane, hexane. Now see, these are all alkanes. They have the general formula CnH2n plus 2. Okay, here n we have to start from 1 onwards. Okay, so if I put n value as 1, then it comes out to be CH4. Okay, and that is methane. If it is 2, then it is ethane, and formula is C2H6. So similarly, we can deduce all the formulae for all the alkanes. These are collectively called alkanes. Okay, now there is presence of, in case of alkanes, there is presence of single bond between each carbon atom, and then we have to put all the hydrogen atoms and we have to check the tetravalency of each carbon. Okay, now let us discuss about butane. Now we have taken one alkane called butane. Okay, now how we will deduce its structure, and is there any different ways to write its structure, or we can write in same way only, or in a single way only. That we will be checking. Okay, now see, when we are just representing the carbon atoms, then it is called skeleton. Okay, now butane means, but means 4 carbon atoms. So skeleton structure will be like this. Okay, this is one way. Now we can write this like this also. Here also there are only single bonds between the carbon atoms. Okay, so these two possible carbon skeletons are there, where each carbon is bonded with single bond only. Now we will put all the hydrogen atoms in both these skeletons, and we will find that these are two different ways of representing the molecule, because in both the cases there is exact same formula of the molecule. There are 4 carbon atoms and there are 10 hydrogen atoms in both the cases. So what do we call this type of structures? This type of structures, when molecular formula is same but structural formulas are different, they are known as structural isomers. Okay, so what do we mean by structural isomer? When the chemical formula is same but structural formula is different for the compounds, then such compounds are termed as structural isomers. So these two are structural isomers of butane. Okay, now let us talk about this ring form. Okay, now what we discussed was straight chain and branched chain. Okay, now why we say branched chain? See, here this is straight chain. Okay, but here if we move, then chain can be only this much. Okay, if this is the chain, then this thing becomes its branch. Okay, so we say this is branched chain and this is long chain. Okay, now let us come to ring form. Okay, now see, let us take one example of molecule cyclohexane. Cyclohexane has the formula C6H12. C6H12. Okay, now see, 6 carbon atoms in the form of ring can be arranged like this. Now, if we see that their 4 bonds should also be there and total formula is also to be satisfied, then if we put 2 hydrogen atoms with each carbon bonded with single bond, then that particular structure will tell us about the full molecule. Means that structure shows the satisfaction of valencies of hydrogen as well as carbon, and there is presence of single bond only. So this is again this is ane. This ane ending stands for single bond. This we are going to discuss ahead in IUPAC naming. So here you can just remember there is presence of single bond, so we have written ane. There are 6 carbon atoms, so we have written hex. And since this structure is cyclic, so we have written cyclo. So this is cyclohexane. This is the structure of cyclohexane. Now let us discuss one more molecule. It is benzene. Now see, till now whatever we discussed, that was saturated compound. Means there was single bond between the carbon atoms, but it may be unsaturated also. Just like if we take this formula benzene. In case of benzene, total formula is C6H6. So there are 6 carbon atoms and 6 hydrogen atoms. So here if you see, there is presence of alternate double bonds. Alternate double bonds means when you start from one end, then you have to leave one step and then another will be double bond. Just like here, if we start here, then I have to leave next one and then next will be the double bond. I have to leave next one and then will be double bond. Okay, so this is the structure of benzene. Okay, here also you can see the valencies are satisfied. Carbon is bonded to 4 means it is having 4 bonds and hydrogen is having single bond. Okay. Now here there are few things. First of all, what is hydrocarbon? Now see, hydrocarbon is the word made up of hydrogen and carbon. If there is a molecule in which only carbon and hydrogen atoms are there, then it is termed as hydrocarbon. Okay. Now if there is formation of single bond between the carbon atoms, they are called saturated. And which are saturated hydrocarbons? Alkanes are saturated hydrocarbons. Similarly, if there is presence of double or triple bond, then they are called unsaturated hydrocarbons. And what are unsaturated hydrocarbons? They are alkenes or alkynes. Okay. In case of alkenes, there is presence of double bond, which may be one bond or more than that. And in case of alkynes, there is presence of triple bond, which may be one or more. Okay. So this is what we discussed today. Now you have to solve these home assignments on the basis of this. Okay. Thank you.